Well everyone, it looks like we have a special video today, and I was gonna make this video like 2 years ago, but I never got around doing it. I bought this phone 2 years ago. Since then, it has been in pretty bad condition, and the worst part about it, the touchscreen stopped working. So I was going to make like a 15-20 minute video, but now I have to shorten it because I just can't utilize this phone to its full potential. But we're going to be talking about the first Android phone that ever came out, the HTC G1, the HTC Dream, the T-Mobile G1, whatever you want to call it. And more so than just talking about this specific phone, I want to talk about what this phone brought to the table and how phones have evolved since then. And it's so crazy. The fact that this is the first phone that had the Android software on it. Now there's been some combat, there's been some back and forth between which one was the actual one with Android, but this is kind of the consensus, the first one with the Android software on it. Now this thing was released back in 2008, and this was back when HTC was like the guy or the girl, they were like the people in town. And rightfully so, they had great hardware, and for a phone like this, I mean, even being released back in 2008 is pretty cool. I mean, it's a really good looking device for a 2008 phone, and there were a lot of marketing aspects that, HTC took that really kind of rivaled some of the bigger competitors at the time, including Motorola, BlackBerry, and even Apple. Now this phone did support 3G, which was really cool at the time. Of course, 3G is kind of the bare stock nowadays. 4G is like pretty much the stock nowadays, but it was kind of, exclusive to T-Mobile at the time, and obviously it still is. You can't really do anything with it unless you got it unlocked. And the coolest thing about this phone that I remember was, first of all, when I was younger, this phone looked much bigger than what I thought. But nowadays, this thing is super small when it comes down to the screen size. It has a 3.2 inch panel on it, TFT panel. But the thing is that it's super thick, but it kind of has a reason to be this thick, which I'll get into in a second. But on the front, you can see we have those buttons on the bottom, the power button, back button, trackball in the middle, which is really cool, the menu button on top of that, the home button, and then a calling button on top. And it was a capacitive touchscreen, which is cool, so you're able to do some gestures and stuff. Now, unfortunately for my model, like I said, the touchscreen stopped working, which I'm very salty about, but there's nothing I can do about it. On the bottom, you had that little different looking USB port, but I took a standard USB port that I used for my microphone, and I was able to fit it in here, so I guess it's okay. And I was able to charge up, and it still turns on and everything. I just can't get it to actually, move things around even with the trackball, which is kind of annoying. However, the coolest thing about this phone at the time would definitely be that slide out keyboard. And what's super cool about this is that, first of all, even now, over 12 years later, this phone still feels pretty good when I slide it around my hands. Like, it still clicks in place. And it has that cool snapping feature. It reminds me so much. I wish phones kind of brought something like this back. That way I can just like slam these phones. I don't know about folding phones, but like when I slide this phone down, it's just like, oh my, like if I hang up on a call, I'm like, oh my God, don't touch my mom like that. And I can slam it. It kind of feels kind of cool, to be honest. Now with that keyboard, it's a full QWERTY keyboard. The keys are actually not that bad size, and they're spread out pretty far. I'm actually surprised about that. Like if I really needed to, I could probably type out a lot of stuff through this. And as far as I know, all the buttons still work, but again, I can't get it to actually maneuver anything, which is so annoying. I just keep getting the no SIM card and phone, and I can't click on anything, so there's really nothing I can do with it. And then once you slide down that keyboard, that's pretty much it. You do have a removable back with a removable battery, which is really cool, and a micro SD card slot, which is really, really awesome. So you can expand the storage up. No front camera, only a 3.15 megapixel back camera. And in terms of performance and everything, I mean, this thing had one version of Android. As far as I know, it had Android 1.6, which was donut. And dude, this is crazy that this phone has that Android version on it. It had a Qualcomm chipset in it. It had an Adreno 130 GPU, and it had 192 megabytes of RAM, but apparently there was a top tier model with 256 megabytes of RAM, apparently. Now, obviously nobody should be using this phone anymore, but to think about how far we've came since then, and to even look at the phone market now, the first Android phone was a HTC phone, to think about it, and where's HTC now? You know what I mean? Like, they've kind of fallen off quite a bit. The main people are like OnePlus, Huawei, Samsung, even Apple. Not in the Android market. Even LG is still kind of up there. HTC really kind of took a weird turn, and I don't know where they're at now, but hopefully they come back to the game. They had some really good hardware. Their software and their whole entire, the rest of their phones were kind of weird, but their hardware was always pretty nice in my opinion. Now what's cool about this is that there were a bunch of mods for this device. As far as I know, there was an Android 4.1 Jelly Bean ROM for this thing. Now there could have potentially been a newer version of software that this phone had the capability of doing so as well. But that's still pretty insane that there was this much of a demand for people to mod this thing. I mean, rightfully so. It's a very good phone for the most part, and it's a historical phone. It's just like the first iPhone or the first Samsung Galaxy S phone. Obviously nobody should be using it anymore, but but the fact that this was the first of its kind for anything is super remarkable in my opinion. Obviously performance, everything is not going to be good, but the fact that this thing was the first Android phone is super crazy. And I feel like, the one thing that surprised me the most about it would definitely have been the build quality. I wasn't expecting it to feel this premium. It's kind of funny, the top screen feels way more premium than the bottom half. So the top half where, the screen is feels pretty good, even in today's standards, but the bottom half feels super plasticky, which is kind of funny, and so that's really it. I just kind of wanted to hit on this briefly. I never got to review it before, and I figured I've owned it for like 2 years, I might as well review it now. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys ever use this phone ever in your daily life or as a side phone or whatever, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.